Okay, it's a new year, it's a new me. I'm going on the dry January, which most people will think is a big thumbs down. But it doesn't hurt to reset the system. It doesn't hurt to reset the taste buds, the palate, and just give the senses a bit of a breather for 1 month out of the 12 there are in the year. So with that in mind, a friend suggested, why don't you do some alcohol-free beers, non-alcoholic, low alcohol, no alcohol, no low, all these different types of options that are out there, and just give them a try. And I thought that's actually a really good idea. So I've got a whole bunch of them, and I think we'll start with this one up first. It's Erdinger alcohol-free Weissebrau. Okay, welcome back to Views on Brews. I'm Brendan, and this is 2021, and this is the new me drinking no and low alcohol free beers. I never thought I'd be doing that, but it's actually a really good idea because I really wanted to step back from beer. I've been drinking quite a lot last year, in small amounts, but regularly. And what that can sometimes do is just jade you a little bit from the whole enjoyment of, IPA after IPA after IPA after barrel-aged stout. It just becomes quite cumbersome after a while. I just wanted to step back, and also just for the month of January, just to see, does that have an effect on my beer belly? Now, with that in mind, I specifically wanted to understand, what is it about alcohol-free beer other than, you don't drink and, your designated driver, what other sort of benefits are there for drinking alcohol-free beer? So this beer in particular I picked up because of something it says on the front of it. If you have a look at the bottle there, you might be able to see, if I'm holding it up right, apologies if I'm not, but you'll be able to see, or I can tell you, it says it's isotonic, contains vitamins B9 and B12 and has reduced calories. So, it's an uphill struggle for brewers and breweries to sell their beer, their non-alcoholic beer, sorry. Anyway, so obviously promoting the health effects of it and the health advantages, alongside, the abstinence, temperance and all of that hoo-ha, is obviously going to be to their benefit. So I've got this big fat Franciscan pint glass here. I'm going to have a huge head on this beer because I'm pouring it like I think it is meant to be poured. It's a German beer. It's going to have a big head on it anyway. I mean, that's before we even talk about the beer. Well, that's an incredibly bad pour from me. First pour of a beer in 2021. I think, it's very hazy there. I'm not sure if there's anything on the bottom of that. So this is 0.5%. So it is 0.5% of alcohol. It says so on the back here on very tiny writing. The distinctively refreshing flavour of our isotonic thirst quencher, Erdinger, alcohol-free, is what makes it so unique. It's purely natural ingredients, supply the body with important nutrients in the form of B9 and B12. Okay, well, you probably get them in a whole bunch of stuff you eat throughout the day. So, that's a whole load of nonsense, really. I have to say that's just nonsense. These help reduce tiredness and promote the normal functioning of the body's immune system. B12 also promotes normal energy metabolism, contains 30 milligrams per 100 milligrams and 130 milligrams per portion of 500 mils. Of polyphenols. Well, polyphenols, we know we get them from Weissebrau anyway. A varied and balanced diet and healthy lifestyle are important. Erdinger alcohol-free contains less than 0.5% ABV. So it falls in the non-alcoholic bracket, as opposed to the low alcohol or alcohol-free, because it falls in that bracket because it's under 0.5%. So it doesn't have to tell you the precise number. It just has to be under 0.5%. As opposed to an island where you have low alcohol, which can be up to 1.2% in alcohol. I think that's right. I'm right in saying that. It's got a whole bunch of calorific stuff on the front, and you might have noticed that I have this here just to give you a bit of proportion. Won't go too much into detail because I've got so many of these low and no alcohol beers to go through, but I'm just going to give you a heads up on this one and just give you a taste and what I think of the actual beer itself. So it's pouring lovely, beautiful clarity, nice golden clear. Gone through the same process. The beer has been made, mashed, boiled, fermented, and then they've de-alcoholized the beer as opposed to making a low alcohol beer. So there's several different ways that can happen, but because Erdinger is such a big company, they will have used the latest technology. I think you just, it's some kind of like a siphoning off of the alcohol. But we'll get into that in further videos because I've done a little bit of research. I don't want to go into detail, but let's just see what this beer is like. So massive rocky head, not very stable, but it's a huge head, decent carbonation, beautiful clarity, golden clear. It's going to be filtered because they filtered out some of the alcohol. There's a sweetness straight away. Now, a lot of people say that they taste alcohol-free beer, and the first thing they notice is this taste of wort, unfermented wort, W-O-R-T, not wort. And you do get a sweetness straight away on this nose. So let's just see what the taste is like. It's kind of honey malt is what I would say on the nose. So it's sweet. It's sweet. It's very caramel-like, and it has that kind of, you're going to get this from alcohol-free beers. It's not going to taste like it's got alcohol in it. Alcohol gives you a nice ethanol warmth to the beer. It rounds out the flavors. It works well with bitterness from hops, and it keeps a lid on the sweetness of the malt. Whereas, and beers that don't have alcohol, that's taken away. So you're not getting that warmth that, there's a warming sensation that you might not even notice in the low alcohol beers, but you definitely notice when there's none in it at all. So I noticed straight away that there's not much in the here at all. Instead, what I'm getting is there is a bit of bitterness, but it's very low, and it's like there's an ingredient missing in this beer. So because I've drunk a lot of beers, I know, if you handed me this beer, I would definitely be able to tell you this is alcohol-free beer because it's missing something. It feels like one of those ingredients in beer is just simply not there. But in terms of the flavor that it does give, it is a nice sweet caramel honey malt sort of flavor. There is a bitterness in there. I don't get much in the way of hops. I don't get much in the way of distinct character of malts, other than to say that it feels like it has a decent amount of body to it. It's not thin, and it's not in any way offensive to drink this beer. It's actually quite nice to drink it. I think, as a beer drinker, it's probably, as much getting used to the idea of not having alcohol in the beer as it is, just enjoying the taste of the actual malt that's in there. Because that's what you're getting. You're just getting a whole bunch of malt and a small bit of bitterness at the back end. Nice bit of carbonation. It feels nice to drink it. It tastes nice to drink it, but the flavors just, it's missing. Like, let me have a few more sips. Let me just have a decent amount of this beer. That's not bad. That really is, as far as alcohol-free beer goes. I'm just going to fire this in. It's going to be terrible, but I'm just going to do it anyway. In terms of the amount of flavor there is in this beer, it has a really nice malty beer-like flavor to it. It now has half a foot long head to it as well. What it does allow you to do is drink the thing damn fast. It's not the worst flavour at all. In fact, the more I drink it, the more easier it is on my palate. And obviously this is like big beer. This is Big Beer Brewing. So they've got the technology to produce these and keep in as much flavour as they can. Smaller microbreweries will have to do different ways of different techniques of dealcoholizing or making an extremely low ABV beer. But excuse me, the carbonation there is coming back up on me. There is a bit of haziness in there. I wonder, like there's a whole bunch of, this is a bottle conditioned beer. What is that on the bottom? But it can't be, can it? Because the yeast would produce alcohol. That is so bizarre. On the bottom of this beer, I don't think you can see it through there, but there is a thin layer of what looks to be yeast on the bottom of this beer. I don't know how that can be, or is it just protein settling out, or is it just, I don't know, strange. Anyway, that's Erdinger alcohol-free beer. Now, isotonic, let's just talk about that just for a second before we finish up. Beer that has alcohol in it, it's a toxin alcohol. So as soon as it goes into your body, it arrives down in the stomach pretty quick. The stomach says, oh, wait a minute, there's a toxin in here. The liver says, send it down here, we'll sort that out. At 1 unit per hour, or 56 calories per unit of alcohol, roughly speaking, like, the liver can deal with 1 unit of alcohol per hour. Okay. So you drink that beer, you drink a normal pint of beer and it has that alcohol in it and it goes straight to the liver. Anything more than the unit is sent around the bloodstream, but a beer that doesn't have alcohol in it isn't necessarily sent to the liver before other things. It is a liquid, so it's digested a bit quicker than the normal foods, but it's not seen by the body as a toxin, and therefore it can go straight into the bloodstream. And if it's excess to the amount of calories you can burn off through the day, it's stored as fat. But in this beer, there are 125 calories of energy, basically, and the majority of that comes from carbohydrates, and of which some are sugars, and the protein in it. So you've got protein, you've got fats. There's very little fat in beer at all. Protein and carbohydrates, which are starches, sugars, and fibers. And that goes straight into the bloodstream and works its way out to the extremities. That's why there's such a big fuss being kicked up now by people that are in fitness, and actually these are actually isotonic drinks. You can actually drink them the same way as you drink a Lucozade, and it's doing precisely the same thing because the alcohol is being dealcoholized in it, because there's a decent amount of sugar, because it's a liquid, and because the stomach sends it out through the bloodstream quicker. It actually enters, the sugar benefits your body faster. Therefore, it's great for athletes, which is, there's some, people that take gels, who are runners that take gels, they do that. You see footballers go on the pitch the whole time. They're taking gels as soon as they go on. It goes straight into the bloodstream, gives them more boost of energy. That's what they're trying to sell, but they're trying to sell it as a benefit. And they've got B9 and B12 vitamins in there. I don't know how the vitamins are added, or if they're just part of vitamins that are a part of the actual ingredients that go in there initially, or they're added. I don't know, but the beer, it's perfectly drinkable, not that bad. This here has way more calories in it. This has, in this bottle of beer, there's 125 calories, okay? And some B9 and B12. This empty bottle of cloudy apple juice I got from Lidl has 44 calories per 100 mils. Now, you don't drink a pint of apple juice. I get that. But, you know, that's like 120, what's that, 140, 80, 120, 160, 200, oh, that's quite a lot. 220 calories per pint of this versus 125 calories in this. And there is not much else in here of any good at all. There's 30 milligrams of vitamin C per 100 mils, which is great, but there's vitamins in this, so there's not much of much. And this is way less going to affect your waistline than this is if you drink it by the pint, which you're not going to, I know, but just as a point of reference, there's sugar and calories in everything. So anyway, that's my view on this brew. It's not bad. It has a maltiness. The more I drink it, the maltier it gets. You know, it's not a light beer. There is kind of a malty, but it does feel a little bit like the wort that you get from beer because there's no alcohol in it, which is obvious. Anyway, cheers, sláinte, prost. Give that one a thumbs up if you're looking for an option. Erdinger, alcohol-free. It's a German beer. It has wheat in it. Do you call it a Weiss beer? I guess you can call it whatever you like, really. It's alcohol-free beer. It's got some wheat in it. It's German. It's not that bad. Does taste a little bit like A, it's missing something, and B, a bit more like unfermented wort. It's just heavy on the sugary flavour of beer that hasn't had yeast in it to convert the sugars into alcohol. That's my view on this brew. Not bad. Cheers, sláinte, prost. On to the next one. Bye.